Hey everybody, it's Kelly with Inky Hands Warm Hearts. How are you guys? So happy to be with you today. I am bringing you a brand new bundle this week. We are going to be using the Autumn Leaves bundle, and it's this fantastic stamp set here and these amazing dies. You're going to love them. Really great stamp set to use. We're continuing with our fall ideas. And I'm going to be doing Thanksgiving soon, but for right now, we're continuing on with fall. I'm probably going to do one more week after this one of other projects, and then the week of, I guess it's the week of the 22nd, I am going to be doing Thanksgiving projects. So don't miss out. If you liked my Halloween projects, you're going to love my Thanksgiving projects. And it'll be the week of the 22nd of October through the 28th. So I hope that you will join us. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you how to make this really fun card. So like I said, we're using Autumn Leaves. We're going to use the All About Autumn 6x6 Designer Series paper. That's what we're using right here, and for this beautiful leaf at the background. And then, of course, you guys know I love my shapes. We're using the largest of these circle shapes, so get ready. We're going to be using this embossing folder. I'm actually going to open that because the first thing we're going to do is use that. So let's go ahead and move all this stuff out of the way. I'm going to drop it in my basket here next to me, and we're going to get started with our project. So we have a piece of 5.5 by 7 3/4 of an inch, because the way this card opens, it's a shorter front, so that this piece that's on the inside looks like it's on the outside of our card. Okay, so we're going to score that piece along the long side at 4 1/4 inches. So let me grab my scoreboard. And we're going to score that at 4 1/4. We can burnish. You guys know. So when you burnish and it doesn't line up, what you want to do is just hold it on the sides, make sure they're even. And then you can press with your bone folder to flatten your card. So this is the base of our card. We are going to do a little stamping, and then we'll do some die cutting, and we'll get this front piece embossed. So for the front piece, we're going to use some copper clay, and the size for that copper clay is 5 1/4 by 3 3/8, and that is going to give us a little border all the way around our piece. I'm actually going to trim a little bit off. So let's make it 3 1/4. Let's see, 3 and 1, 2, yeah, 3 1/4. No, maybe not quite that much. Let's see, 3 3/8. I'm going to take off. Yeah, let's make it 3 1/4, not 3 3/8. Let me see what that looks like. Yeah, I think I had the measurement written down wrong. 3 1/4 by 5 1/4. So that's easy to remember because they're both quarters. I'm going to change that on my written instructions in case I ever want to make this card again. So this is the piece we're going to emboss. We're going to die cut this piece here. So let's get our dies out and get ready for some fun. So we're going to use this open large leaf die. So we're going to need that one. We're going to die cut that out of this piece of Designer Series paper. And we're also going to stamp that piece out of a basic white cardstock. I'm using a scrap, but it's, I don't know, probably about 3 inches maybe wide. You just need a scrap that's big enough to stamp your large leaf. So we're going to stamp that. in crushed curry. And you can see here when I turn it this side, you can see that veining. That piece is gonna take a much lighter effect. So you can see here on our card, you have this very pale yellow in between. So it's really awesome the way this stamp set was designed, I think anyway. So I'm inking that up really nice. Give us some nice amount of crushed curry ink. All right, let's stamp it. Make sure we have enough room to fit our die on here. I think I'm gonna turn it this way. Yeah, that'll be better, have more room. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and stamp that down. So there is our crushed curry. I'm gonna clean my stamp. You guys know that I never leave stuff unclean, right? I clean as I go. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and clean that off. While we're stamping, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this, separate it from that scrap piece that I'm using. We'll cut both of those out. And on our circle die, it's the largest circle from the, I'm trying to think of the name of it. It's on the tip of my tongue and I can't even think. Oh, stylus shapes, there we go. We're gonna stamp the words "I'm thankful" right here on our circle. So let's just get all of our stamping out of the way. So I have "with a grateful heart" and then "I'm thankful." These are sentiments that are in the stamp set. So I'm gonna ink that up and then we'll move that out of the way. And we're gonna put that right down here in the bottom section of our circle. It says "I'm thankful." Isn't that pretty? Let's clean that. All right, time for the die cut machine. I'm gonna clean my stamp. We're gonna do the embossing and then we're gonna die cut one leaf out of this designer series paper, out of that beautiful set of trees, and then we're gonna die cut this stamped image out. I'm gonna move these guys to the side. There's our card. Move everything out of the way. These are the pieces I'm gonna need, and then I'm gonna emboss this piece. So I'm gonna also grab that. We're gonna use our big guy, the Big Boss. So the Stampin' Cut emboss machine. We have our big one. All right, so you're gonna need plate number 1, plate number 2, because whenever you're using the dies, you need plate number 2, plate number 3, and then we are going to add our leaf. Line that up. Make sure it's all good. Such a beautiful stamp set. And then we are going to put our second plate. Oh, see, it moved on me. I better use a flag. I use these Post-it note flags, and until they don't have any more sticky left. So I don't know why I tried to do it without it, but not this time. I'm gonna go ahead and put 2 of them on there, and then that will hold it in place. We're gonna crank it through our machine. Gonna push this back through so you guys can see. We're gonna go ahead and pull this off, and you can see how beautiful that leaf is. Okay, discard that piece. Let's grab our designer series paper. We want to get one of our leaves out of it. Let's see, that looks good there, it fits. I'm gonna go ahead and put my pieces to hold it in place so it doesn't shift on me. We're gonna put number 3 back over the top and crank it through, and then the last piece we're gonna do some embossing. All right. So there is our beautiful leaf. Discard this. Look at what the back side looks like. Isn't that gorgeous? I tell you what, this designer series paper is super pretty. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out, put my die back. This fits on here somehow, some way. Let's see how. I'm gonna move this one and put this in first, and then I'll figure out how to finagle it. The way I have this is almost like a puzzle piece. You see that? So I gotta make sure I got it right. All right. I'll put it in my little holder here, because we're done with our dies for the day, but we need to use the embossing. So with the embossing folder, you need, this is a 3D embossing folder. So I'm gonna talk to you about the plates. We don't need number 3s and we don't need number 2, but right on here it tells you with a 3D embossing folder, you need number 1, your little sandwich, and then number 4. So this one's number 1. Let's make our little sandwich. I gotta get my embossing plate. Okay. We're then going to put our piece of cardstock inside. That's our sandwich. Okay. Close that, so that goes next. And then it says plate number 4. So here's number 4. We're gonna put that one on top, and that's our sandwich that we're gonna crank through. It's nice that everything's written on that bottom plate, so there's no guesswork. All right, let's push it back through. And when we open, look at how beautiful that is. Really pretty leaves. All right, so we're gonna put our folder away. I better put these little Post-it flags away in case I need them next time. And I'm gonna move all my plates off of here. We'll get our big guy out of the way. All right. Give me a second to put everything away. And then we'll move on to the next phase in our project. Okay. So we have our embossed piece, our circle, our piece of our strip of designer series paper, our leaves that have been die cut, and our card base. Okay, I also have a 4-inch piece of copper clay ribbon. So if you haven't seen the ribbons that are part of the new In Colors, copper clay is one of those colors, and it is absolutely gorgeous. This is the paper that we're using. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and adhere this piece right here onto our base. Okay, but we're going to put dimensionals, so I got to grab them. And I'm going to use these outer edges to get rid of them first. Whenever I run out of dimensionals on my sheet, I always cut up the edges and use them because they work just as good as dimensionals. And I like to put these along the outer edge all the way around. And for those of you who think I use way too many dimensionals, it's okay. You don't have to use as many as I do. It's my thing. I like to make sure that I have plenty of support on my projects because I put a lot of work into them. And I want, when they arrive in the mail, I want them to look just as great as they did when they were at my place. So, it's okay. You use the amount that works for you. And I'm going to use the amount that works for me. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to fill in the centers, which is why I use all these edges, because I do use a lot of dimensionals and I want my cards to have good support. All right, let's pull this last little piece. All right, so I use my Take Your Pick tool to remove all the backs. And once it gets saturated, I purge those into my trash can. Now, let me explain why I use my Take Your Pick tool, because these little guys love to end up all over my craft room floor, and I don't want them there. So, If they are all stuck to the tip, I can purge those right into the trash can, and I know that they will not end up on my craft room floor. All right, so we're good here. Let's go ahead and attach this piece onto, and we're gonna have about 1/4 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch all the way around. All right, so there is that piece. Let's glue this piece in here. So I'm gonna grab my silicone mat, and this piece here is a little long, okay? So what I wanna do is I wanna hold it to the edge and pretend that it's glued, and I'm gonna snip it and cut off what I don't need, okay? That's my trash. And now we're gonna go ahead and put wet adhesive or our green and white glue or multi-purpose, whatever you call yours, on the pretty shiny side because we're using the leafy side with all the fall leaves. All right. So I'm gonna use my tweezers. Whenever I use a lot of glue, I make sure I have my tweezers handy. I think I'm gonna put it in this direction. I like it. And we're gonna butt that right along the edge of our cardstock, making sure that it doesn't stick out and that it's right there along the edge, and we're gonna press that down. So when you close your card, that's what you see, okay? Right along that edge. Isn't that pretty? All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is we are gonna attach our circle here, and it's gonna overlap just slightly on this edge, just a small amount, okay? And this is gonna be lifted up off of our card as well. So see why I use the edges? Because I use a lot of dimensionals. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut a few of these. I hope I get to finish them on this project today, we'll see. So right here, this part that overhangs, I don't need any there. So I'm gonna put my fingers there to kind of mark where I don't want them. And I'm gonna slowly start pulling some of these guys off. Make sure I have them going around my circle. And I'm gonna put another one right there. Okay, so that should be good. Let's use our Take Your Pick tool and remove these little fellas. One more. I don't know if I can get that one. Might be saturated. All right, got it. Throw those in the garbage. All right, so this side that doesn't have any is the side that's gonna overhang. So I'm gonna lift it up so I can see what I'm doing, and then I'll show you. I'm kind of centering it and making sure that a little bit of it hangs over the edge like that, okay? So when you open it, see how you see a little bit of white there? That's why I didn't need any dimensionals hanging over that edge. Okay, so our next piece is going to be our fall leaf, and we are gonna glue this down. Now, as you can see, this top section where the two pointed pieces are, they don't get any glue, and on here beneath the pointed piece doesn't get any glue. The rest of it can have some glue. So I'm gonna move my card out of the way. I'm gonna flip it over. So right there and right there, no glue. The rest can get glue. This is also getting the green and white glue. It's not raised up. So the rest of our piece can get some glue, just like this. All right. And we're ready to go. We can go ahead and glue this down. So I'm gonna grab my tweezers, pick up my leaf, and then we're gonna go ahead and figure out where we're placing it on here. Obviously, we don't want it to cover up my I'm Thankful. So right there, there's our leaf. I'm gonna put a mini dimensional underneath that point. So let me grab those. I'm gonna show you those. So they're the small ones. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the back off because I should have put it on there before, but I didn't. So I'm gonna pop one there. That will hold that one in place. I'm gonna get one more, do the same thing, and then I'm gonna make sure that these two little pieces end up on my Take Your Pick tool so that I know they're not gonna be on my craft room floor. See how they get stuck to my hand? This is why I use the Take Your Pick tool, but I wasn't paying attention and I didn't realize that I was gonna need those. So there, now we have support behind those. Let's grab the take your pick tool and pick those up, and then that way that I'll make sure they end up in the trash. Okay, so now comes the next piece. So this one is going to come across in this direction, and it's going to be lifted up off of my card. So again, the point of this one, and then right to the edges of these points, but the rest of it can have dimensionals. So we're going to finish up the pieces that are on here, and I'm going to start here to make sure that I don't put them where they don't belong. And this one is going to be lifted up. See, I finished all that outer edge. Let's grab another one. I have some more outer edges. Let's try and use them up. I'm trying to purge them today, so we'll just cut a few more. All right, we're not going to use all of these, but I'm definitely going to use quite a few. All right, we'll put one there, and this one, we don't need that one. I'll put that one back on the sheet. All right, so there is my leaf. Let's go ahead and pull the backs off. All right, we're going to attach our leaf onto our card. Isn't it so pretty? This is such a beautiful stamp set. Okay, so we're going to kind of position it around there where the L is not covered up. And I want to make sure that I don't have any dimensionals off of my card. All right, so there we go. There's my leaf, and you can see it sticks out, but you can't see the dimensionals, okay? That's important. All right, now comes time for the ribbon. Well, this ribbon frays, you can kind of see right there that it gets frayed a little bit. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go ahead and tie my knot, and then after I've tied my knot, I'm going to trim down the ribbon. And once I've trimmed it, see, I'm going to give it a nice knot there in the center. So once I'm happy with my knot, and I am, I'm going to trim these edges. So I'm going to grab my ribbon scissor, and I'm going to give it a little cut there and a little cut here. Okay, and I think I need to trim this one just a smidge. I have it just a hair too long. There we go. So what I want to do is I like to use one of these lighters that are like for a barbecue grill, because then I can keep the flame away from my finger. And I just singe the ends like that of the ribbon, and it keeps it from fraying. So let's do this side, right across, and that keeps it from fraying. So we're going to throw these pieces away. I'm going to take my lighter, move it out of the way, get all my parts and pieces off of here. I have too much going on right now. So we're going to use a mini glue dot. That's what I'm going to use to attach our ribbon. And this is perfect for things such as ribbon, anything that is a three-dimensional item. So we're going to take here and we're going to add one to the back of that knot. I'm going to do one on the other side. I like to make sure that I have plenty of adhesive, okay? If you're not getting that trend from me, you'll catch up eventually. All right, so there is my piece, and I'm going to attach it right down there at the bottom, kind of giving that leaf a bow tie. Isn't it cute? All right. So that is our card. I don't think it needs any more embellishments than what it has there, but if you like to add embellishments, you can add a few dots here and there. I think the card is perfect without it. But like I said, everybody's different. So if you want to add a few embellishments to your card, go right ahead. I am going to have a free tutorial to thank the people who have been coming to my blog. I've been blogging for a while now, and just as a thank you, I'm going to add a free tutorial for this card. So you can grab that from my website. You can download it there. And I hope that you do. So if you don't mind, leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up, share my video. I greatly appreciate that. And if you don't have a demonstrator, I would love to have you purchase from me. You can go to my online store and purchase any of these products from there. But if you think that you're really going to love this, the best deal of the century is to sign up underneath me. I have some information on that, and you can get oh gosh, we have such a good deal going on right now. I can't even remember it off the top of my head. I believe it is, you can get $168.75 for $99, or you can get $125 worth of product for $64.35. That is the deal I have going on right now, and I would love to have you on my team. You don't have to continue to purchase. You can buy as a discount shopper. You don't have to sell it. You don't have to sell products. You can just buy from yourself. It's kind of like a Costco membership. But if you have any questions and you want any more information on joining part of my group, I would love to have you. Let me know, and I'd be happy to talk with you about that. All right, I guess I'm gonna let you go. Thanks again for being here, guys. We used the Autumn Leaves stamp set, the All About Autumn Designer Series paper, the Stylish Shapes dies here, and don't forget, I haven't put this away yet, but here, I'll put it away now, the Leaf Fall 3D embossing folder for this fantastic card. There it is. If you have any questions about these products, feel free to send me a message, and I'd be happy to speak with you. Thanks again for watching. This is Kelly with Inky Hands Warm Hearts. Happy stamping!